After this story, you'll think twice before buying wigs. Because some hair carries more than just beauty, it carries secrets, whispers, and a darkness you can't wash off. Nneka had always been meticulous about her appearance and obsessed with wigs. Lagos demanded it. Here, beauty was not vanity, it was power, currency, influence. From the crowded streets of Yoba to the glittering lights of Victoria Island, she had learned early that a woman's hair could say more than her words ever could. Her closet brimmed with weaves, extensions, and lace fronts, but nothing compared to the Instagram post that made her heart skip a beat, a 28-inch Brazilian wig, glossy, thick, and impossibly natural, sold by a new salon tucked away in Lekki. The salon called itself the Golden Touch, promising luxury beyond imagination. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when she finally decided to visit. The Lagos roads were slick with rainwater, a chaotic symphony of honking cars and shouting vendors echoing off the buildings. She navigated puddles with care, dodging motorbikes and street hawkers selling roasted plantains and sachets of water. The city seemed alive in a way that was beautiful and suffocating all at once. Inside the salon, however, time felt different. The air smelled faintly of jasmine and chemicals, a mix that was both comforting and unnerving. The salon was quiet, almost too quiet, for a place meant to cater to the city's most fashionable women. The glossy chairs and polished mirrors reflected an elegance that contrasted sharply with the bustling streets outside. Behind the counter stood a woman who introduced herself simply as Madame Zainab. She moved with a grace that seemed unnatural, as if gliding on the floor rather than walking. Her gown shimmered like moonlight on water, and her eyes, dark, deep, unreadable, seemed to see past Nneka's carefully constructed exterior, straight into her desires, her ambitions, her vanity. This hair, Madame Zainab said, fingers grazing the glossy strands, is special. It doesn't just sit on your head, it grows with you. It listens, it protects, it chooses its wearer. Nneka laughed nervously. It listens. Every hair has a story, Madame Zainab replied, her smile calm, almost hypnotic. Some hair remembers its past, then some wants to continue it. The words left a chill Nneka couldn't shake, but the beauty and shine of the wig, the way it seemed to promise power and allure, drowned out her unease. She paid the steep price without hesitation. In Lagos, appearances opened doors that talent sometimes could not. That night, she installed the wig with careful precision. Every strand felt heavy yet silky, a living thing sliding against her scalp. She admired herself in the mirror, imagining the admiration she would draw at work the next day. But as she brushed the hair, she thought she heard a soft voice, faint, almost lost among the hum of the ceiling fan. Nneka. Her heart skipped a beat. She scanned the room. The apartment was silent, save for the distant honking outside and the patter of rain on the balcony. She laughed at herself, dismissing it as exhaustion, the weight of Lagos life pressing on her mind. The whispers returned that night, growing in clarity over the following days. At first, it was barely audible, almost like the rustle of hair against her pillow. Then, unmistakable words emerged. Return what is mine. Nneka tried to ignore it. She slept with the lights on, unplugged her headphones, even placed the wig in a drawer at night, but the sensation of being watched never faded. Reflections in mirrors seemed delayed, as if her image had a mind of its own. At work, small anomalies unnerved her. The wig seemed to shift slightly when she wasn't looking, shadows clinging to the reflection in office windows. One evening, over drinks with her friend Ife, Nneka confessed. Maybe it's just stress, Nneka, Ife said, half laughing, swirling her drink. The Lagos traffic, the walk, everything piling up, maybe it's your mind. It feels alive, Nneka admitted. Like it's trying to speak to me. Ife frowned. Alive? You mean, haunted? Yes, Nneka whispered, gripping her mug. I think it's haunted. The next day, she returned to the Golden Touch, hoping to confront Madame Zainab or at least return the wig. The street was unfamiliar, even though she had memorized the landmarks. Where the salon had stood was now an empty lot, abandoned and overgrown with weeds. She asked neighbors, but they shrugged, claiming the salon had never been there. Online, the Instagram page and reviews had vanished as if they had never existed. Apparently, Madame Zainab was used as a vessel by the women who were murdered to make the world pay by making the lives of the women who purchased their hair miserable. In panic, Nneka visited a barber shop she had frequented before in her neighborhood. The barber, who is a good friend of hers, a man with silvered hair and deep-set eyes who was said to know her so much about wigs, studied the wig, his hands trembling slightly as he ran them over the strands. "This is Brazilian," he said slowly. "High quality. But I've seen hair like this before. Harvested. Taken from someone who didn't survive. You need to be careful. Some hair carries more than beauty." "What do you mean?" Nneka asked, swallowing the lump in her throat. "There were women who were murdered years ago. Their hair taken after death. People bought it, thinking it was luxury, but it carried their spirit. They want it back." The whispers escalated. She could now hear clear words in the dead of night. "Return, mine, scalp, mine." Nneka tried washing it, cutting it, and when she tried burning it, she was shocked that it didn't burn. Nothing worked. The hair merged subtly with her scalp, embedding itself, defying her attempts to remove it. Her reflection betrayed her. Sometimes, the face in the mirror was not hers. Shadows lingered behind her eyes. She spoke to herself and found her voice answered in a tone not quite her own. Her friends noticed changes, her laughter sometimes hollow, her moods unrecognizable. In desperation, she sought a spiritualist in motion, a man with decades of experience in restless spirits. His heart smelled of herbs, smoke, and damp earth. He examined the wig with hands that trembled at first, then steadied. "This is no ordinary hair," he said. "It is a doorway. The spirit of a young Brazilian woman called Anaya who was murdered resides here, seeking continuation. If you remove it without care, you risk losing yourself. If you keep it, she may take you wholly. Is there a way to stop it?" Nneka asked, trembling. "There is," he whispered. "A ritual. But it is perilous. One wrong move, and you may vanish, body and soul. Are you willing?" Desperation left her nodding. The ritual began at midnight. Candles lined the floor in intricate patterns, incense curling around them in thick, fragrant tendrils. The spiritualist chanted in a tongue older than the city itself. The hair writhed as if alive, tightening around her scalp. Nneka screamed, gripping the strands, trying to fight the pull, but the hair only fused further into her flesh. In a mirror, she glimpsed Anaya's face grinning back, her eyes alive with hunger. Time seemed to distort. Each second stretched into eternity as pain tangled with terror. Nneka's screams were swallowed by the darkness, her scalp burning as though invisible hands were ripping life from her roots. Then, suddenly, silence. The pull stopped. The strands that moments ago felt alive now fell lifelessly to the tile floor, a dark heap glistening under the dim light. Nneka crumpled to the ground, gasping for air, her heart drumming so hard it hurt. Her scalp throbbed violently, raw and inflamed, each breath sharp against the pain. Relief crept in, fragile and trembling, but the horror lingered, like a shadow that refused to let go. When morning came, she woke to the faint hum of her generator and the cold weight of reality. Her reflection in the mirror almost broke her. Her once thick, glossy hair was gone, every strand. Her scalp was bald, red, and blistered, like something had clawed at her in her sleep. She touched it gently and winced, the skin felt alien, exposed. That day marked the death of her vanity. The same Nneka who once flaunted her imported wigs and prided herself on changing hairstyles weekly now couldn't even look at one. The sight of synthetic curls or human hair sent shivers racing down her spine. Till today, she hides beneath a face cap and hoodie, moving like a ghost through the city, her beauty buried under layers of fear. And though people whisper and wonder what happened, only Nneka knows the truth. Some wigs don't just sit on your head, they claim it. Months later, Lagos whispered another story. A salon had reopened in Lekki, glossy and modern. Its Instagram page boasted the finest Brazilian hair, promising transformation, luxury, perfection. Inside, a woman attended to clients. Her smile was perfect, her hair immaculate, her presence unerringly familiar. Customers whispered about her aura, different, yet captivating. Those who looked closely swore her eyes held shadows of someone else. The women's spirits were waiting for the next lady willing to pay the price for vanity so they could trap her soul.